Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Yarn at the Barn. My name is Manon, I'm a programmer, horsey girl and a knitter. Today is just a regular podcast episode, update episode, I don't know what to call them. Oh, coming to join me, Archie. Yep, Archie is trying to join. He is a little bit tired. As you can see, different background. It's because we're on holiday. We're in the French Alps and we've done quite a big walk with Archie yesterday. Well, I did half of the walk and then my husband continued together with a friend, and Archie chose to go with them. Not that he understands his choices, but he decided to follow them. And so he's a bit tired today. Hey, pups. You okay? But actually surprised that he did really well. He's over 13 years old and it was a really big hike. It was 1700 meters of up. So what do you call it? Vertical difference. So yeah, they were out for 7 hours. I only did 4 hours, 3.5, 4, I can't remember, something like that. And then I went to sit in a cafe and knit, which was lovely. I don't do the entire hike because my knees are not perfect anymore or never were. I don't know. They start to hurt on the downhill at about 700-800 meters of down. So yeah, I do slightly shorter walks, but you don't. Anyway, for today, I've got a new cast on. I finally got some yarn that I bought, well, pretty much ages ago, but it has come in and I brought some of it with me. I think I brought way too much yarn with me, but I'm sure lots of us do this, expecting to knit, I don't know, 24/7 on holiday. And I just got accepted in the test knit. So that might jumble up the plans for autumn, but we're going to talk about all of that. First, we're going to talk about whips. Let's start with the new cast on. That's exciting. And Archie, I'm very sorry, but I do need my arm. Oh, I'm so sorry. But you can keep on sleeping. There we go. Okay, it's going to be a little bit awkward where I put my arm, but it's going to be fine. My new cast on. I decided after a certain part of one of my current whips, which I will talk about in a minute, I was allowed to cast on the first accessory that I want to cast on this holiday. And this is the Cellarium hat. It doesn't look like anything at the moment. Let me get just enough yarn so I can show it to you. But this is it. I think I'm on row 4 of the cable pattern. You really can't see, and it just looks weird and a bit like chaos now because it's just setting up. So this is a hat designed by Unwind Knitwear. That is Rachel Ilsley, and I really love her designs. They're very smart and beautiful. I don't know. It's very simple, but it's maybe not simple. Is maybe not the right word, but very elegant and not over the top cables on a hat. And this is a gift knit for my sister-in-law, who I still owe a present since last Christmas. And I'm going to visit them in November. So yeah, I want to have this one finished. So this is one that I would really like to finish while we're on holiday. I knit most of the ribbing in a day, and then I finished the ribbing yesterday after the hike while sitting in a cafe, and I was really intending on starting the cables and I was all ready for it. And I realized I didn't have the right needles with me, because the ribbing is done on 2.5 millimeters, which it was on, but the rest is done on 3 millimeters. And those I did not have with me. I did have a pair of 3 millimeters with me, but that was on a gigantic cable, and one of my other projects is on those needles, and I didn't want to have to switch to a cord, and I think those needles are way too big to fit this in without creating like ladders. And anyway, thankfully I had my full project bag with me, and so I had enough yarn and things to do, so it was okay. But yeah, so the cables is from yesterday evening after we got back, and a little bit this morning. I'm knitting this in, I should not have wrapped the yarn back on it, but let's see if it focuses. This is Tôt le Matin yarn, so it's fingering base, 70% merino, 20% silk, and 10% mohair in the colorway Jasp. And it's the perfect color for autumn. It's this really deep green. It's a little bit cool toned, which I find really, that's a dog hair, I find really beautiful, but it's not the best color for me because warm tones suit me better. But I think my sister-in-law is blonde, blue eyes, and I think this is going to look absolutely gorgeous on her. But yeah, when I saw it online, I fell in love with the yarn, and yeah, I was very close to getting free shipping, so it was almost a free skein, so it's fine. Anyway, this is not the first time I work with this yarn. It is super wash, but it's super soft. It's very nice. It's a pleasure to work with. I'm not holding it with anything else, as you can see, and it's great. I like the stitch definition. Not holding it with a mohair. You're going to see the other project that I'm working this yarn or the colorway, but with the mohair. It looks very different. But yeah, only good things to say, and only good things to say about the pattern as well. It's very clear. There's, I think, 4 different charts, and they're each for a part of the hat. I don't know, I've not read forward too much in the pattern, but it divides it up in nice little chunks. I'm like, okay, once I'm done with all of those, or maybe when I'm halfway, I've done the 2 first charts, maybe I'll allow myself to cast on the socks that I want to cast on, but we'll see. But this is the first one. Sip before this cools off. I'm very good at letting my tea get very cold, and I end up with iced tea, and I prefer warm. The only problem is if I drink tea during a video, I have to edit the audio because the mic is very close to my throat, and you can hear me swallow, and it's not a particularly nice noise to have in a video, or I would not be very happy to hear that, or hear other people swallow. So here we go. That's going to be quite a bit of editing. Cheers to future me, who has to edit this. Anyway, moving on from this weird little side note. Second project is, if I can get it out of the project bag. Ooh, where's my yarn? Ah, there's the yarn. Orchid Bloom Pullover by Sari Nordlund. And this has moved on quite a bit since last time. It's okay. I've also put it on a bigger cable. That is one. But I've also done quite a bit before I show you the yarn, so you can see the difference with the previous project. I did put a marker in. Yeah, there we go. This little marker there is where I was 2 weeks ago, of when I did my previous podcast. And so where is it? I've lost it. There you go. And so I've done all of that. I finished all the lace. Well, the lace for the yoke. because there's a bit more lace on the sleeves. And I've moved on to the slightly bigger needles to do the stockinette. And it's so nice to have a stockinette project. I had sort of forgotten this, but I also knew once I got to the stockinette bit that I could also cast something else on. And this could be my mindless stockinette project. I mean, I will very soon have to put the sleeves on hold. In fact, tell you what, I'm gonna have to take my microphone off for this, but I can show you what it looks like because I had some concerns about sizes. I say this, but I need a longer cord then to do that. And okay, extra cord or cord extender thingy. Yeah, here it is. Whoever thought of making these things is amazing. So let me quickly put a longer cord on this and then I can show it to you because I like to work with kind of shorter cords than the garment circumference is at that moment. Find it easier to move the stitches along, but therefore I can't try it on just like that. But if you then extend the cord, then you are perfectly fine. Okay, so pull this needle out and then push all the stitches onto the new cord. Go. Yep. Bunching up a bit around the extender bit. Go. Almost there. And this is quite big. Let me take the mic off and then I should try and stop talking until I've put this on. Okay, I managed not to talk while doing that. If you have seen any of my previous episodes, you know that I was worried about the size because Sari Nordlund's gauge is quite loose. Mine is not excessively loose or tight. It's sort of in the middle, I find, knitting different patterns. But I was really worried about the size because I could not hit gauge on the lace part of the sweater. I could perfectly hit gauge on the stockinette part. So I did gauge swatch for this and I was a bit worried. So what I did is I started knitting a size 4, I think that's L in a pattern, hoping that that would compensate for not meeting gauge at all on the lace. I think I was 4 to 6 stitches off, enough that I was really worried. And so I thought, you know what, I'll go up one size. I usually hover between size S and M, depending on the designer, the measurements of the garments, how much positive ease I want. And so I was like, okay, I'll go for the safe size. Considering the neckband, that was the right choice. I mean, at least it, and the video froze, great. Oh, and I still have I have to weave in this bit, but let's tuck it in. So for the neckband, right choice. If it had been any tighter than this, it would have been a bit too tight, but as it is now, I mean, it will relax with blocking. I realized that. Same yarn as the hat, so Tôt le Matin MSC, so merino silk cashmere in fingering base. It relaxes a bit, but not a ton. So I'm also that was also something that went into the choice. Neckband, very happy with the sizing. Lace, I mean, of course, this is going to have lots of fabric pulling it down, so you can see the lace. It looks just a little bit big. It's not too big, and I mean in the back it's gonna pull quite a bit more on the back so that it doesn't, stick out. The sleeves, it's on a cable, so it's making it look like that. So it's probably good. But once I've joined for the sleeves, I will try again. And at least for the body, I might do some decreases if it's too big. Because I didn't meet gauge for the stockinette part, and I don't need an L size. So from there, so as of under the bust, I might do some decreases so that it's a little bit more fitting. But I'll see that. I'll just have to keep on putting it on and see what it looks like. But for now, at least it's not too small. That was my biggest fear. It's not. We'll see if I can get it to be look exactly the way I want. I looked in the mirror and it's gonna need. I can't quite turn because I've got a dog on my lap, but you can't quite see it. But it's definitely gonna need short rows in the back because it feels like it's way, way, way higher on the back than it is in the front. So there are short rows. There's a short row option. It's not that you have to do it in a pattern, but I hope there's a lot of them because this is just gonna need so much. But yeah, I'm not too far for joining for the sleeves. I think I want to knit maybe 3 to 5 centimeters extra. At least, so this is the problem. For the front, it doesn't require that much more. I mean, I wanted to be here, join here, so that's not that much more. But for the back is much, much higher. So I have to see when I hit the amount I want to do for the front anyway, if I just don't have to do German short rows to already extend the back before I join. So that might be a modification I do. But I don't have any fixed plans yet. I will see how this progresses. It's super nice and easy that it's stockinette now, so it goes very fast. There's quite a lot more sweater to do, so it's not like it's going to be a super fast project, but it's easy and mindless, and that's nice sometimes as well. So the yarn, let me first take this off because it is quite warm. There's a reason I'm wearing a t-shirt. We don't have the heating on or anything, but it's really warm. And it's a little bit too warm to wear this. Let me put the mic down and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we are back. We, as in not royal we, but just we can continue, as in all of us. Stay there, needle. So yeah, quite happy with how this has moved on. I will put another stitch marker later so that we can see next time how much this has progressed. But yeah, quite happy with how fast this is going. And then I promised to show you the yarn as well. I had a ball before, but I got a yarn winder at last. So I was able to cake up my yarn. And the camera is... No, there we go. So this is the hand-dyed yarn by Tulemata. It's very, very pink, but paired with this soft silk mohair from Knitting for Olive in Forest Berries, it gives this beautiful colour, and I really love it. I keep seeing sort of this colour in other places, as in yarns that are already this colour, and it's tempting to get some of it, but I'm like, okay, it's quite an, how should I say, opinionated colour, and I'm not sure I want more than one sweater in it. I might want a slightly lighter, cooler toned version of this, maybe for spring. I've got one pattern in mind, but it's in testing at the moment, so we'll see when it's released. It's supposed to be released in January. It's a Dahlia sweater by the Knit Pearl girl, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, we'll see. Let's first do this one. But I'm in love with the color. I think it looks really, really good. Okay, let's put all of this away because there's my third whip that has had quite a bit of knitting done on it as well. Let's see, get all the yarn. Here's the mohair. It's all tangled up. There we go. So this is my Agnete cardigan. I promise it will be a cardigan. And last time, so this was sort of a dormant whip for quite a long time because this is a brioche knit. It's designed by PetiteKnit, by the way. It's relatively simple, but because it's brioche, it doesn't move very, very fast. And so I decided some time ago to pick it back up. And when I picked it back up, I was there. And so I did all of this in about a week, I think. And then last podcast episode, I put another marker. And so I've done the rest of the right front panel until having to put the stitches on hold. And I have started the left. My needle is all bunched up. Wait. And I have started the left front panel. So yeah, it's once you get back into the rhythm of brioche, it's really not. It's not hard. That's the thing. It's just that when you look back on your progress, it's knitted on. Is this 2.5? No. It's 3mm needles. It's US 2.5. It's not very fast, and then with other projects you see a lot more progress in the same amount of time, and it's very tempting to go for quick results. But the fabric that this creates is really squishy. It's lovely. It's a perfect autumn color as well. I'm not sure we'll be able to finish this in the autumn. It might be winter by the time I finish. It will still work. It's going to look beautiful in the snow. I mean, it's going to be very nice. I will not knit this very long. At least not the body. The sleeves I might do. I like long sleeves, so I will do that. But the body, I don't want it super cropped, but more cropped than I do for most of my garments. So that's something to look forward to, in a way. But yeah, very easy pattern to follow. No complaints, only good things. Just it's brioche, so it's relatively slow. But I'm quite happy with my progress. So that's it for the whips. I only have 3 because I normally only sort of allow myself to have 3. I'm kind of might cheat with the accessories. So with the hat and with the socks, all things. I don't know. I'm also on the fence with doing that because I also realize that if I do that, it's going to take longer to finish everything that I have started. So it's also like a little bit of a motivation thing. Like maybe I should focus on 3 things and not add extra things, and the accessories will be much faster. So it's nice. But yeah, I do want to cast on the socks that I want to knit in October. And preferably during this holiday because I'm going to have quite a lot of focus time. It's nice to have an entire day of knitting or filming an episode like this, and yeah, get quite a bit done by the end of the day. So yeah, we will see, I guess. But the yarn for the socks came in before we left on holiday, and I caked it. And this is my very first cake. and you can see lots of things have gone wrong. And this is the second one, and it already looks a lot better. So I only have the yarn winder thingy that creates the cake and no swivel. Because I thought that one step at a time, let's not, I mean, I spend lots of money on yarn, but yeah, for some reason I thought, let's not go completely crazy. And yeah, so I used my husband as a swivel. Well, not quite a swivel, but he had the skein of yarn on his hands. And the first one did not go very well. I mean, it's socks, so I tried to divide it in 2 cakes of about 50 grams each. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. You could see it as team building, but I do understand people that get swivels to not get into fights with their partner. It didn't become a fight or anything. In the end, it was funny because he ended up getting quite handy with how to hold his hand so that the yarn could sort of slip off his hand, but only the one strand that we wanted to slip off. I mean, anyway, if you've done this before, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know this, yeah, it's an interesting experience. But what was really cute is that, not for this one, but when he saw this one, he said, "Oh, it looks like a little cake." And I had not told him that it was called caking yarn. So I was sort of proud in a way, like, oh, very good. That's what it is supposed to look like. So I'm very proud of you for seeing that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how this is going to knit up because it's a little bit tangled and everything. But this is Malabrigo Ultimate Sock. So it's, if I'm not mistaken, 25% superwash merino and no, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon or polyamide. I mean, something plasticky but strong that gives socks their strength. And this is the colorway Neverland. So it's a really nice pink. And I had also ordered another skein in the colorway Oro. I don't have that with me. No. Because the sample for the socks that I want to knit, which are the Agrimonia Socks by In Her Skein, that's Marie-Ève Wedge, are knitted in this beautiful sort of golden colour. And I thought that was really beautiful, but yeah, I was sort of on the fence which one to use, and I decided to do a different colour than what the sample was knitted in. And I will use that yarn, so the Oro colourway, to knit like a little scarf or something for myself. Or as a present, I don't know, but we'll see. It will be used. So with other acquisitions, I'm going to have to unpack. I don't know about you, but this is all the yarn that I brought with me. This is another cake for the Orchid Bloom sweater. This is some more if there's not enough for the hat. This is in more mohair for the Orchid Bloom pullover. There's another skein of it for the Orchid Bloom pullover, and I did bring the yarn winder just in case, because I'm delusional about how much I'm gonna be knitting. There's a lot of Peer Gynt and drops mohair for the Agnete Cardigan. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? And then another accessory, I'm crazy, but another accessory that I wanted to start is the dog sweater. So it's a pattern by Drops. It's called the Lookout, and it's this very cute little dog sweater. But I ordered 3 balls and later realized that the size that I want to knit him needs a 4th. And I did have, so it's the same yarn. It's extra fine merino, Drops extra fine merino. I think this is just called red, and this is Bordeaux or something like that. I need to, because my dog has quite a big chest, I need to knit him a size M. But he's not very long. So I might get away with this, but I also might not. And since I already had this one, I don't know, I'm not a fan. It's not a terrible combination, but I'm not a huge fan. So either order a new skein and the shipping costs are going to be more than what one skein costs, or I can start knitting it, but I don't do so. It has ribbing at the top, at the bottom, and around, well, the legs. It just says around the front legs. But I could do a provisional cast on for around the neck. Not do the ribbing, because I thought I could start with the ribbing in this color. But if I end up knitting the entire thing, and then it turns out I would have had enough to do the ribbing in all of this, then I'm really going to regret it. So, current plan is to probably not cast this on while on holiday, but provisional cast on for around the neck. Knit the entire sweater and then see how much is left of this. And by then decide, do I want to add all the ribbing in this? Or do I order a new skein? And maybe by then I will need new yarn for something anyway, because my mum has finally decided what she wants for her birthday knit. And part of that is going to require drops mohair. And so if I need to place an order again anyway, then I can order an extra ball of this, and to hell with this color. I don't know. I really like a Bordeaux normally, but this one, I don't know, it's nicer on camera at the moment, but it's just a bit dull, especially compared to this one, which is very, I don't know, this one is also, on the pictures, it looks very, I don't know, flamboyant is the word that comes to mind. It's very vibrant, and in real life it isn't really. It's also a little bit dull. I don't know if it's a superwash treatment or what, but yeah, I don't know. Not a huge fan of the colors. I mean, it's perfect for a dog, but this one, also it's on black. It doesn't look that good on him. So yeah, I've got all of these in case I suddenly knit like 2 or 3 times faster than I think I can. I don't think I'm going to get to this. The last thing in the yarn bag is something I do kind of want to cast on, but we'll see about the test knit in a bit that I'm going to talk to you about. I had ordered this yarn a month and a half ago, and I finally have it. And so this is PetiteKnit in colorway matcha, and this is the La Mana Premia in colorway kiwi, and I'm going to combine these two in an Esther sweater because I wanted. Okay, it turned out that the mic was out of battery. Last item that I'd like to talk about today is, I think I found a perfect cable knit. So, a little bit of background. I started this year, I knitted this, which is the Moby sweater by PetiteKnit. And there we go. It's this enormous thing. And I knit the size L because I want it to be oversized. Okay, to be clear, it's the first garment that I knit from a pattern. And I didn't properly read the pattern, I guess, because I didn't realize that the size came including positive ease, and so with an oversized fit. And so this thing is quite big on me. It's a little bit too big. It's very comfy, it's very nice. I do wear it now that it's getting colder. I'm not wearing it now because it is ridiculously warm, at the moment in here. But yeah, it had gotten me thinking I would like to knit something. I mean, I love cables, so maybe I should re-knit this, but in the right size with a different yarn. I don't mind the base yarn for this. It's Hobby Friends wool, and it's a yarn that has very positively surprised me. But I paired it with the cheap mohair version from Hobby, which is called Diablo. And it's a little bit scratchy and it's not as beautiful, and it's got these like plasticky fibers that come out of it. I mean, I'm sure it's a great yarn for certain things. Now I know better than to use it for garments. So I still have quite a lot, and I'm thinking very much of giving it away to someone who would like it. So maybe I do that for Christmas, something like that, like an Advent giveaway yarns that I bought and are perfectly fine. It's just I don't think I will use them anymore, and I've got some more yarns that are perfectly okay. It's just I realize I like knitting with other stuff. So yeah. Anyway, digressing. But really like cables, so I was thinking maybe I'd knit this again, and I was considering double Sunday, and so maybe do that. But I don't know. I get very easily bored, which is why I picked up knitting in the first place, because I was bored just watching TV or something in the evening. I need to do something with my hands. I like to be making something to have like a result at the end of it. And I don't know if knitting a pattern a second time is gonna really work for me. But it was an option because it's a very nice pattern. It's very well written. It's super easy to follow the charts and everything. It's got nice details, like here at the back. You've got the trapezoid shape, but she's made the cables. Oh, I have to show it correctly here. The cables really like line up, and I think that's a really nice detail. I did a mistake somewhere in one of these. Yeah, here I did one row too much in stockinette instead of changing to a purl row, but it's in the back, so who cares? But yeah, super happy with this sweater. It's really lovely, but I'd like to have a version that fits better. So that's the backstory of I'd like to knit a cabled jumper again, also because I love cables and texture. And so yeah, so that was in the back of my mind already, like maybe I do that this winter. Enter the Highland Sweater by A&O Knits, and this went very, very fast. I saw it yesterday. So Pearl by Ray, that's Megan Horton, who did the what is it called? Oh, it's a beautiful sweater, and the Talia sweater, and has also done the Birgit sweater, which is a colorwork sweater. And she reposts a tester call from another designer from A&O Knits on her stories on Instagram. And I just fell in love. I'm kind of picky with what cable sweater I want to knit. I realize I'm really not the easiest. But this one sort of like ticked all the boxes. It looks really perfect. It's not too over. Okay, so lots of sweaters are really great. And in my pattern roundup from last week, I talked about quite a few cabled sweaters that I all really like. But what I wanted for this one was something that was not too oversized, with some nice cables, with possibly something new, so that I could do something that felt just a little bit challenging for myself. I like to have a little bit of a challenge, and I wanted nice long sleeves. Yeah, I don't know, it's maybe not a lot of boxes to tick, but I feel like a lot of the cabled sweaters out there at the moment are very oversized. and it gets very heavy. I've got a very oversized one already, so no thank you. I'd like a more fitted version. And this one by Anna looks like perfection. So it's her very first pattern, so it's quite exciting. And I just about to start dinner, and I was like, no, wait, I can't start eating. I want to like submit my application for the tester call because I really like to test knit this one. And I got in. So I'm really happy, and now I have to get yarn because the deadline is, what would I say, quite close, or there's a better word for this, and I can't remember it. I have until the 30th of November to knit one sleeve, front and back yoke, to at least check that all the instructions work. After that, it's just knitting in the round. So for yarn quantities, it will matter, but not for instructions in the pattern. And that's the main thing that needs to be tested. So that's a month and a half. So it's not a lot, but it's doable. It's just I need to get yarn because it's quite a big gauge. Top of my head, it's 16 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches. So that should knit up quite fast, I think. I already received the pattern. It looks very clear. So I've not been able to see any issues just there. So yeah, I'm very excited to start on this one. Before I go on to yarn choice, I'm not entirely decided. I do want to order today or tomorrow though, so I can start knitting quite soon. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Test knits. It's very relaxing to just knit and not have a deadline. It's also my hobby. I don't want to introduce any stress. On the other hand, I'm your typical slightly ADHD-ish person that does really, really well when having a deadline. I don't always like having a deadline. I don't like them for work at all, but I do perform like ridiculously well under like very high pressure. I just don't like it. So I tend to avoid it. But I thought let's try it. It's such a nice sweater. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see how it is. I'll do like a feedback sort of thing episode or whatever, like how was test knitting, at least my experience, and we'll see. But yeah, I'm really, really excited. And I've got, so yarn wise, because it's quite a because it's quite a big gauge, I don't have anything in stash for this. At first I thought, oh, maybe Peer Gynt will do, but that's still too big, so that's not going to work. So I've got two options in my head. One is knitting 4-live heavy merino, and I still have to pair it with a lace weight yarn. And I've thought about, do I want a mohair? I mean, it's a little bit too bad for the stitch definition, but I think I do want to pair it with a mohair. Other option would be like a silk thread or cashmere or whatever, but I don't really think I want to do that. And I think that if I pair it with just a normal fingering weight merino, it's going to be too big. So yeah, the current idea is that type of like a heavy yarn, like worsted weight, paired with a lace weight. Fits very well in there. They've got some beautiful colors. First option that I thought of was to do the same color combination as my Amy slipover, patterned by Sadness Garn, that I finished this summer, beginning of autumn-ish. And it's Bordeaux paired, so the Bordeaux for the heavy merino, and then paired with a mohair that in the colorway Claret, which is a slightly lighter, more vibrant red. Of course, now there's going to be more merino, so the mohair will shine through less, but for a very autumn-ish sweater, I think it could be really nice. It's just, I've just finished, well, just about a month ago or something, finished knitting in this colorway. I really enjoyed it, but do I want to knit with it again? It's very winter appropriate. But when I want to wear that color in spring, I feel it's not super versatile. Then the other colorway I've been thinking of is Deep Petroleum Blue, which I think is really nice. But I also have something quite similar in stash to knit a sweater for my husband. And I would kind of like to do that around his birthday in January. And so, am I going to enjoy knitting that now and then again in that colorway? So it's again like sort of a double color thing. It's the color I'm least enthusiastic about, I have to say. So probably not going to happen anyway. Then the other two colors from Knitting for Olive that I think would look nice, first of all, is Fennel Seed. So it's beigeish, but with a bit of green. It's quite a warm tone, and warm tones suit me quite well. I can't really go with the cold tones because then I just look dead. I look very pale, and I get a very red nose, not because I'm an alcoholist or anything, which I'm not, but I just always have a red nose. Call me Rudolph. And that accentuates it. And it's not something that I particularly like to be accentuated. So Fennel Seed is nice and warm. And I do have soft silk mohair in a colorway Dusty Honey at home that I got during the fundraiser from Knitting for Olive. And I've got enough for it for 2 sweater quantities. So I can definitely take one of those quantities and use it for this one. So it means less costs because I don't have to buy an extra sweater quantity of mohair then. So that's very tempting. And then in the same sort of colorway, there's like linen. It was just a little bit more grey brownish than the sort of beigeish standard ones. And that would make it a very beige sweater. And I would probably also pair that with Dusty Honey to give it just a little bit more warmth because it is on the cool tone side, that one. Would be nice. Not sure. I'm leaning towards Fennel Seed with the Dusty Honey because that is going to be quite a little bit of a golden. It's not quite chartreuse. It's not gone all the way into yellow, but it's leaning a little bit towards there, and I think that would be nice. Also, I want to knit the Low Tide by Rachel Ilsley, and I do have yarn in stash for that I bought for that sweater, and that will be in a very beige color. So I have that in the back of my mind, like I don't want to do another double color. On the other hand, beige goes with everything, so I can wear that all the time whenever I want with whatever else. So it's an easy choice. Other yarn option, and then I shut up about this, I promise. I'm currently in France, and there's this lovely French brand, Skein Natura, who has the same sort of weight yarn, Gilead, as Heavy Merino. And it's just like Knitting for Olive, it's very much like an ethical focused company. So it's mostly locally grown, so in France or in Portugal, Spain, spun in Italy, dyed, I think, in France. And I mean, it's all from around here, which is something I'd like to support. And I don't think they ship to the Netherlands, so where I live, normally. But they ship to France, and I'm in France now. So if I order now, I will get it before we go back. And they have this really beautiful color, which is called Genet, and it's this almost chartreusey yellow golden color. And they have it in the Gilead, so the worsted weight yarn, and in their mohair. And I've recently seen it, so Marie-Ève Wedge in her Skein recently did a sweater that is in test phase now. In that exact, she did the sample in that one. I don't know if it was Gilead or Ulysse. It might be the Ulysse base, which is a slightly is a thinner yarn, but it looks really great. My only with that one is that it feels very fall, very autumn. It's very golden, very light, and will I want to wear that one in the middle of winter? There's my one little so we'll see. But I have to make a decision soon because I would like to order as soon as possible. I think I'm still tending towards fennel seed, but we'll see. I'm gonna think about it a little bit more. But anyway, super excited about this test knit. It's gonna be my very first test knit. I'll take you along every step of the way, how it's going, and yeah, I hope I can. I'm fairly sure I can do all of the knitting that I want to do before the deadline, and then hopefully finish it before Christmas, like the rest of the sweater. Yeah, I think it's really beautiful. So we'll see. And I think that brings us to the end of this episode. I'm trying to think, did I forget about anything? But I don't think I did. I think for next week's episode, I want to take you on a couple of the hikes that we're doing, and just like the general knitting mood around here. So it's going to be more of a vlog, I guess. I've never done one of those before. I think it's going to be quite editing heavy, but it might be nice. There's some very interesting weather at the moment. Lots of clouds, lots of mist, but also sunlight. And when those two pair together, it's magical. I really love it. Also going into slightly higher mountains, so some snow. And it's lovely. So that's the idea for next week. If you would like to not miss that one, then if you're not subscribed already, then maybe press that button now. And if you've enjoyed this episode, maybe give it a like. It's a really nice little feedback for me to know that you have enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments what you are currently knitting on, what you think color-wise, what I should do. I might have ordered before this is posted, but just let me know anyway what you would do. It's always so. I'll see you next week on Friday at 5 p.m. when my next video comes out. And in the meantime, have a lovely weekend, have a lovely week. Happy knitting. Bye bye.